Hello and welcome back to the Week in Nintendo. I'm your host this week, Steve Bowling, and you might notice if you're on YouTube that something's just quite a bit different. There's no camera feed today, but I have the most exciting reason for that. This is the week of Christmas. We're recording this just a few days before, but that's not what I'm excited for. I'm excited for Christmas the same way all man children across the world are, but I'm excited because today we're taking it back. That's right. I finally got my OG co-host with me, none other than my own little Christmas miracle, Brandon. How you doing, man? I've missed you.
I don't think I've ever been called a Christmas miracle before. My almost 32 years on this planet, that's a new one for me.
Well, there you go. You're my Christmas miracle.
It's good to be back. It's been a long time. I've settled into a new job, so haven't been able to record as frequently as I'd like to, but today I'm here.
Yeah. I haven't shared with the audience what has kept you away, obviously out of respect for your own privacy, because that would be messed up, right? But yeah, Brandon landed a regular old job like some of us here at GVG have, and of course, if you work, you know that it's kind of hard to create content at work. So I'm really, really happy to have you here. It's really cool that we're able to pull this together.
Yeah, I'm jazzed.
It's been a good time on the Week in Nintendo since you've been here. So I'm going to ask you what we usually asked, whoever third person was on. What have you been playing? What have you been up to?
So I've been kind of on a Metroid bender the last week or two. After playing Prime 4, I was still hungry.
Ooh.
I was still craving Metroid. Which is funny because going into Prime 4, I replayed Prime 3 and I played Prime 2 for the first time. So I've been playing nothing but Metroid for a long time. But just this week, I've beaten Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission.
Ooh, great games.
And Metroid NES.
Wow. Now, were any of those your first playthroughs besides Prime 2?
Metroid NES and Metroid Fusion were both my first playthroughs.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I've never finished Metroid NES, but Fusion was one that I picked up way back when. I still have my original cart floating around here somewhere. Fantastic games. Really, really great stuff. That's pretty cool. I also have been, and I know you know this, but for the sake of the audience and for continuity, I've been on a Persona bender for the last month and some change. Metroid was a brief detour and then right back into it. I actually rolled credits. I finished out the world of Persona 3 Reload last night. I finished, I beat Persona 3 Reload in about 85 hours, maybe closer to 90. And then I loved it so much that I immediately rolled into Episodigus. I went out and gave Sega my money and bought Episodigus and then played through that, which took an additional 24 hours.
Holy cow.
And I know this is not something I thought I'd be saying. It's certainly not something that I expected when I got my copy of Persona 3 Reload. I was like, I'll eventually try it. And I don't think a game has gotten its hooks into me this deep in years. I would actually put Persona 3 Reload up there with some of my favorite RPGs ever, like Final Fantasy VII, Chrono Trigger. And I can't believe I'm saying it any more than those of you listening. But if you've never played it and you're looking for an RPG to while the hours away with over Christmas, just try it. It's really good. And it just got a 60 FPS patch, which after 100 hours made me feel like the game was running too fast.
It's funny that they drop a patch right after you were done.
Right? What a messed up thing to do, Sega, Atlas. Just wait for me to roll credits and then drop the patch when I'm hours away from finishing the DLC.
They were monitoring your playtime and said, now's the time.
Yeah, they're like, this is good. Let's make him play it again. But I've I've spent a huge chunk of my life playing this, but one thing that I like, and I'm not going to, this isn't going to turn into me just talking about Persona forever, because Daniel and I can make that video and that can go on forever. One thing that it taught me though, and I don't know, you probably don't have as much experience with this. It taught me that I still have the stamina to play long games like this, because I think I've told myself for far too long that I cannot invest that type of time. And apparently I can if I really want to.
Yeah, when I hear people say stuff like that, I usually break. My first impression is that they don't want to, or you're not as young as you were before. Playing games for an X amount of hours isn't as enjoyable as it is when you're young, unless you're me and you never stop. For me, it's a superpower and a curse. I'll let you decide which. But yeah, I think for everyone, there's a game out there that will do that to you.
Yeah.
No matter how old you are.
It really opens my eyes. I think, we talked about, weirdly enough, here on the Week in Nintendo, like a previous week, we talked about our PlayStation stats because those had just come out, and we always have a little preamble. Like last week we went into Blippi lore. The week before we talked about PlayStation. Yeah, the Blippi lore episode unfortunately didn't do a lot, but it goes weird places. But we look at these wrap ups, and I'm like, I somehow put like 200 hours into Fortnite. I can definitely play like a huge RPG. I just don't think of it because I end up playing loads and loads of these quote unquote digestible games, right? Like things that have 5-minute round length. Like we were talking about it. I think you put 200 plus into Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a Tuesday for me though.
Right. But
I don't think there's been a Monster Hunter I haven't put at least 200 hours into.
But that's the myth, is that, because I'm sure you didn't play it. Well, maybe you played Monster Hunter for hours and hours on end, but I think most people, their most played games are games that they picked up and played in short bursts and then put back down, and it just added up over a year. Whereas, I started to realize, like, I kind of locked back in, because when I was younger, I used to play Final Fantasy VII, that I could play that for 12 hours in one sitting. And I very quickly realized that I can still do that. It's just a matter of how engaging that game is. Persona 3, I would routinely go back and save and realize hours had passed. Like I was like, oh crap, it's been 3 hours since my last save. And I've been playing this whole time. So yeah, don't let anybody tell you you're too old or something. It really does come down to just, I think, interest and engagement. But I will say that it's kind of this experience I've had with Persona 3 has opened my eyes. I know, Brandon, I was talking to you and Derek and Daniel about what RPG is next on my plate. And I was, we were talking about maybe Dragon Quest 3. We were talking about Dragon Quest 11S and Persona 5 as big ones that I know I had missed that are major blind spots. And I believe your recommendation was 11S, right?
It was. Dragon Quest 11S is one of my favorite games of all time.
See, and that's something, and I think one thing people miss, and this is something, and I don't blame anyone for missing this specifically about like GVG, about us as a channel. I really, really respect everyone on the channel. And so when you guys in particular recommend a game to me, it comes up to like the top of my list as something I need to play. Because I know that there are a lot of groups out there. Like, it's easy to assume a group of content creators like us are kind of just like faking it. And I promise you we're not. Like, we are, I consider
Brandon Miracle plays games.
Brandon Miracle plays games. Like, for those of you that don't know the inside, and no one does, I don't think we've ever really talked about this at length, but there is an ongoing inside joke within the GVG staff that Brandon has like a pocket dimension in his house where he finds time to play. Like, he bends the rules of space and time to play games, because I would say roughly 80% of the time when there's a new release and all of us are playing through it, like we all start at the same time, you smoke us to the finish line. And not only do you beat us to the finish line, but it's almost always 100% completion and more hours put in than we can fathom.
I guess for me, like, video games are my hobbyist of hobbies. Nothing trounces that for me. Like, if I'm going to have recreational time, it's almost always playing a video game. Maybe that's the ADHD speaking, and that constant dopamine rush I get. But that's just how it's always been for me. And getting into my adulthood, even having a 2-year-old, it's just, when I have the time, like, that's what I want to do. And I'm just committed to that.
I will say that as my kids have gotten older, I do blame them a little bit. Not them specifically personally, but their existence. When my kids were much younger, I used to just have a lot more time. Like, I could just put in the hours with games. I remember reviewing games with Avery in my lap, or, I'd put her down for a nap and I'd be able to play for like 4 straight hours. As they get older, and you've got to like take them to school and they've got their own social lives blossoming and all this other kind of stuff, I do find that it's a bit more difficult. Also, since they're much more aware of what I choose to do with my time, I definitely feel this like nagging guilt about wanting to play games when they are up and about and stuff. Because I'm like, I don't want them to be like, oh, I grew up and dad was always on a game. Like, granted, that's what they choose to do a lot of the time. But I try to like be around in the house, and obviously no shade to anyone for however they choose to govern their life. But I find that I miss a lot of, peak gaming time because my kids are around and I'm just kind of choosing to not really be playing games. But now, it's interesting because it's kind of coming full circle. Avery is 12 and Ellie is 9, and they both like legit game now. Like, Ellie plays Fortnite way more than I do. And Avery is slowly but surely becoming like almost like a mini Daniel. Like, she's really into JRPGs and she's really into Zenless Zone Zero, and she wants to get Honkai Star Rail, I think, is the other one that she wants to play. But she's big into Hoyoverse stuff too. So it's like, I find that now we converge a lot more, and we can, everyone wants to play a game. So we're all just playing like different stuff in the same room, which is the dream for me. I'm very happy that my kids, are like, oh yeah, let's go downstairs and play Switch or whatever. I'm like, awesome. It really worked out for me with Persona. Avery actually saw me. She watched most of my playthrough, and she actually asked me for Persona 3 Reload for Christmas. And spoilers, since I know my daughter doesn't listen to this, you did get it. I hope you enjoy it.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is the one time that she's going to listen.
Yeah, right. She's going to listen and be like, yeah, Dad, I got in the Patreon and I found out. Thanks.
You see, as much as I play games and, put in tons of hours and all that, I know that my reckoning is coming. Like, I can feel it in my future. Like,
you feel that you're low on time, so you're just getting the best hours in now. No, I get that. I think the years between like 3 and 5 are the most difficult to try to, because you still have that sense of like, I had freedom a moment ago, but where did it go? And it's because now you have a very inquisitive child who speaks short sentences and is like, what's this? What's this? Father, please explain. And I think that that's when it becomes the most difficult, because your kid wants your attention like in an engaged way, nigh on constantly for like a couple years. And then they start to like try to figure themselves out. Then they become more interested in learning and figuring things out themselves with no help. They want to do it all, and they flail, and it's really cute. But yeah, there's definitely, I think you're right on the cusp of finding that that weird space I found myself in right around when I joined Game Explain, where I struggled to find the time to play games and then create content. And it's so funny because I didn't realize it till the other day, but my 9-year-old thinks that all I do for a living is play video games. She has not caught on to the fact that I make videos about them or that,
Oh, sweet summer child.
anything happens after. And I tried to explain it to her. I'm like, imagine if your job was to read books, but you had to write a book report every single time you finished a book. Because she loves to read. And she's like, oh, why would I do that? And I'm like, I ask myself that question sometimes. But anyway, go ahead.
Honestly, in some ways, it's been kind of like enlightening for me, having spent so much time at my new job and just kind of playing games in isolation for a little while. That getting to play a game without an asterisk is a blessing.
There is a very interesting feeling these days that I've kind of been experiencing. Like I started playing Persona 3 Reload, and there probably will be a video, but I didn't play it with the intention of making one. So like I didn't capture footage, I didn't take notes. I just kind of went along for the ride. And it was such a nice feeling. Like to because I think one thing, and I think this might be what you're driving at, that's very interesting to me is that when you do this as a profession, when you play games with the intent of creating a piece of media around that game, whether it's criticism or analysis or an editorial, it changes the lens through which you view the game. And you can't really get that back. Like you have to basically disconnect from the entire connected infrastructure of content creation and review and criticism and all that. And when you're really playing these as a fan, there's just another level of enjoyment that you don't really get if you're trying to analyze it while you play.
There's even like an element of not surrounding yourself in the criticism in the moment, whether it's yours or not. Like, I got to experience most of Metroid Prime 4 in a bubble, my own little bubble, where I didn't really see outside takes. I just kind of experienced the game from start to finish, and that was a very precious time for me. Getting to play a game in total isolation, especially a new one. No preconceived, biases or thoughts, from other outside voices were infecting my brain. I just kind of got to experience the game and let it be what it was, I guess.
I get
And then,
that.
of course, I came back to the internet afterwards and just got just explosions of criticism in all manner about Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, it's an interesting space. We've actually touched on this in a couple of past episodes where we talked about kind of the tide of negativity around gaming discourse in general on the internet, right? And you can specifically find it concentrated around Nintendo games, Pokemon Legends ZA, Metroid Prime 4. In fact, what was it? Somebody wrote like a really well-considered comment that I didn't love. Somebody wrote a comment basically praising us as like the whole of GVG for our wealth of gaming knowledge, while also simultaneously telling us that our standards are far too low. And the thought was that Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4 specifically were not good. and that liking them was indicative of having extremely low standards. And for one, I at least appreciate the thought that went into like, hey, I'm gonna feed you something without trying to make it seem like just an insult. Because if you read comments on YouTube, that takes a certain amount of restraint, and I appreciate that. But I don't agree, like even in the slightest. I think that unfortunately what seems to be happening is people are losing sight of the idea of a good game. And that a good game and a flawless game are not the same thing. And
that's exactly what my experience like with Metroid Prime 4 has been.
Yeah.
And I guess Pokemon, like, you can't. People are starting to fail to separate the good and the bad. Like, they can't exist simultaneously. It can only be one or the other. That's why we rate games on a spectrum.
Yeah. As somebody who's been reviewing forever. Oh, go ahead, please.
I mean, I have plenty of criticisms about both of those games. You can hear a lot of my criticisms about Metroid Prime specifically in a discussion up on the channel. But I'd still say it's a good game. I had a good time.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Recently, I quote tweeted a particularly salient one from Fran Mirabella, who, if you don't know, reviewed the original Metroid Prime back in the day, was one of the founders of IGN. He got out, made his money. He's just doing whatever he wants now, right? And he has posted a lot of takes on Metroid Prime 4, specifically around how much he likes it. And, he tweeted about how Nuance is basically dead and how it's really difficult to talk about games because the minute you mention something positive, people assume that you love everything. And the minute you say something negative, people assume you hate the game. And that's not what criticism is. There's a lot of gray in there that I think gets lost. And I also think people tend to say like, oh, a game can only be good or bad, and that's just not true. That's not true of any piece of media, but it's especially untrue of video games. Games can be in between. Like you said, Brandon, 5 out of 10 games exist. That's why, we have a scale between 1 and 10 to give you an idea of how we feel about something. And I would largely say that 5 would be a game I'm very indifferent about. Like, it could exist or not, and I wouldn't care. But like I would say if I were to review Metroid Prime 4 after having completed it, because I do have issues with it. I think that going to Fury Green all the time is kind of silly. I think that the desert is not my favorite place. It seems like they wanted to have this bike and they needed a really good reason for it to exist. So there's a lot of empty desert out there. But I mean, this still would put it at like an 8 or even an 8.5 out of 10 for me. Like a perfectly fun, enjoyable game that I will almost certainly replay at some point in the near future, but not a game that's going to be elevated into the pantheon of like my favorites of all time. Like, perfectly great, wonderful game, had a lot of fun with it, got some stuff I don't like. Every game has some stuff I don't like. And I feel like that's kind of, like you said, slowly getting lost. That people think, it has to be one extreme or the other.
Yeah, I've heard from several content creators in our circle that they're getting tired of talking about games online because of what it's turning into. Yeah, because you're just not allowed to have an opinion. It doesn't matter what your opinion is, where it lands. You're dumb and you're wrong at the end of the day.
You just summed up like at least 60% of our comments on YouTube. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough out there. I've largely stopped. I post, and I've been doing this experiment for like maybe 3 or 4 months now. I post the most milquetoast surface level takes on my Twitter and they blow up. People love them. And it's so sad to me that it works. I've got a formula for it. It's like a 3-word sentence and a picture, and that's all I do. So with Metroid Prime 4, I might have posted a picture and said, "This game's pretty," like with a picture of it running on a Switch, and like I think it got like 1,000 likes or something, which for me, with a very small audience on Twitter, is a massive success. But if I post like a nuanced take on the game, maybe 5 people will see it, and they'll talk about it. It's the state. I think social media has really done a lot of harm to the state of games discourse. I was going to say criticism, but really discourse is the word I'm looking for here. Because everybody's trying to get either one, a reactionary hot take to make people upset, or 2, they're trying to get as much engagement as they can by, posting something that is just, doesn't tell the whole story.
I think a lot of the time too, people forget that the opinions of right now, 20 years from now, probably won't be aligned with the common consensus.
Yeah.
Like, you look at a ton of terrible movies, quote unquote terrible movies, when they first come out, and then 20, 25 years later they have cult followings of people that appreciate the things that were quote unquote bad. Like, you look at me, I'm a big fan of Monster Hunter, and the first 3-4 generations of those games all got middling reviews across the board. But the things that people dislike about those games are those are the things that I love, I'm sure, when it comes to like this is a wild one. Like, I don't know if this will happen, but it'd be really funny if it did. What if 25 years from now people start talking about the flat buildings in Pokemon Legends ZA as being a blessing?
That one would be particularly amazing. Yeah, Legends ZA, that is one of my primary criticisms of that game, is that visually it's not super impressive, environmentally specifically. But that game is another one that I think is a perfect example of a really good game, but not like great, certainly not perfect, but good. Like, I didn't pick that up and ever at any point be like, God, I wish I didn't buy this. Like, famously, and I've told this story before, I did that with the Elder Scrolls Oblivion on Xbox. Or Morrowind on Xbox. I got that. I got it home. I put it in. I was like, I hate this. And I took it back. That to me, and again, you could disagree with me. That's fine. But to me, that is my definition of a bad game. Like, when I pick it up, I go to play it, and I'm like, I don't like this. That's a game that's not for me. That's a bad game. But if I can pick up a game, play it, finish it, enjoy it, and have some minor gripes about it, that is still a good game. And I think the discourse, particularly around visual fidelity and FPS, has gotten to a point where people look at those two things and determine the quality of a game without ever actually engaging with the content within the game. It's like looking at a book's cover and deciding not enough pages can't be good. And
it's so funny you say that, because I think about all of the criticism and discourse I've seen surrounding Pokemon Legends EA specifically, and I think the only actual criticism I've seen is about the visuals. I don't know what people actually think about the game, because no one will talk about it.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. And I think a lot of people are just going based off screenshots. I would wager that a lot of people on social media who criticize these games like really heavily didn't play it. Because there's actually a pretty fun, lighthearted story in there. The Pokemon battles themselves are as fun as ever. It is, to me, a pretty fun time. Like, I played through the game without stopping. I didn't have to put it down. I didn't have to walk away. I didn't have to give it a few days and play other stuff. It became the only thing I was playing while I was playing through it. And to me, that's the definition of a good game. If I don't want to put it down, then it's doing something right. And I think that a lot of people, they go, look, it's real ugly. And there are legitimate criticisms you could make about the state of the Pokemon franchise. Like, I would love to see massively multiplayer online Pokemon, which, yeah, we know is probably coming. Would I have preferred to see a proper Gen 10 game? Sure. Like, those are things that are accurate, potential criticisms of the franchise. But if you look at that game and you actually play the game, you'll realize that it's just, it comes down to, do you like Pokemon or not? And if you don't like Pokemon, it's not going to convince you. But if you do like Pokemon, you're probably going to really like this one.
It's so refreshing hearing someone speak reasonably about anything.
It's been a long time. It's definitely an interesting time that we're living in. There's a lot of kind of vitriol to go around in gaming communities these days. So if you're listening, I encourage you, don't take our word for it even. Like, don't take an FPS counter, don't take a video, like, just try the game if you can. Obviously, I know you can't everybody can't run out and go buy every game they're interested in trying, but, or at least listen to somebody talking about what is inside that FPS counter. What is beyond the visual presentation, because some of my favorite games are horrifically ugly. You know, some of my favorite games run like crap. Ocarina of Time is a 20 FPS across the board game, which by modern standards, people would say that that's terrible and it's garbage. I think there is a reasonable expectation of a certain amount of visual fidelity and technical prowess on the part of especially larger publishers, but I don't think it's the only metric by which we should judge a game. You know, like I said at the top, I played Persona 3 on Switch 2 in a very unstable 30 FPS, and I did not like that part of the game. But the story, the combat, the writing, the voice acting, everything that actually made up the content of that game was so good that I was able to look past the obvious and apparent technical shortcomings and enjoy what, you know, the team at Atlas had put together here. I should have gone for it on PS5, but you know what? I got it on Switch 2. I was caught up in Switch 2 launch hype, and I ended up playing one of my favorite games I've ever played because I was able to just, you know, say, yeah, you know, it sucks at 30 FPS. It's not great that it's there, but there's a really wonderful game underneath that. And of course, then they patch it as soon as I beat it, which just feels mean. But anyway.
One of my favorite Switch 1 games is Metroid Dread, and I don't think that game looks very good.
No, yeah, Metroid Dread is a very fun game, a very stable game, but certainly there's a reason that the camera is pulled out as far as it is. It's not because
textures
the graphics
are low
super
quality.
wonderful.
There's like a weird sheen and bloomy look to everything. I don't love that, but you know, like 10 minutes into me playing, I'm not thinking about that anymore.
Yeah, you're thinking about the moment-to-moment gameplay. You're thinking about level design. You're thinking about enemy encounters. And that's really what we should be. I'm not saying there's no room for technical criticism, but what I am saying is we should be talking more about those components of a game than we are. You know, it seems like we've become hyper-focused on a game's performance as opposed to its content. And I would take a poor-performing game with great content over a game that ran at, you know, a rock solid 60 FPS and 4K natively with just terrible stuff, you know, in the actual gameplay. Like, don't sell me meme run at 4K 60. So, you know, there's that. But either way, today we're getting closer to the holidays, and I kind of wanted to do, you could almost call it a game. I don't know that it's not necessarily a game, but I wanted to
Word
have
on
a
the
much
street
less
is Brandon likes
serious
those.
topic. Yeah, Brandon, you might need to bust out your pocket dimension and do some research here, but I've realized something. We were talking about Prime the other day, and I was like, Samus doesn't hunt a bounty at any point in that game. And I can't think of a Metroid game in which Samus is actually tracking or hunting a bounty. And it got me wondering, how often do Nintendo characters actually do their jobs? Most of them have a job. But how many actually do said job? And I want to start with Samus, especially because you just went on a roll with this, Brandon. Has she ever hunted down, like she's a bounty hunter, has she ever hunted a bounty in any of her games?
Yes.
Who?
All of them.
No.
So I think, you know, and this is pretty well known at this point, but like the creators of Metroid didn't know what a bounty hunter was when they selected that term. But I wish I could remember which game exactly it was. But it was one that I just recently played, where I'm pretty sure there was a comment on the money that Samus was going to make on a mission. So like when she's bounty hunting, she's not hunting a head, she's hunting a mission.
Interesting. I'm trying to find where this was. Let's see. Metroid Dread.
Even the beginning of Metroid Dread, like when she's approaching Planet ZDR, Adam mentions that like the reward is not worth the effort. Before
That's
she decides to
true,
land
isn't
there.
it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
She is getting paid for doing this stuff. We never see that part of it.
We don't see enough of Samus doing non-shooty things.
That's true.
Also,
though the times that she doesn't, the Metroid fans get mad, so maybe that's why.
That's true. That's true. Other M did not go over well. I haven't played that game in years, and I feel like I probably need to, just to remind myself if it deserved the hate that it got at the time. I remember playing it and thinking it was fine. I don't remember being blown away by it, but I remember just kind of being like, it's okay. I think she might be a little chatty, but I got some feelings about that weren't popular. In a previous episode, I said that Samus should be chattier in Prime 4 because it's very weird to see her, like, see people talking to her and she's just kind of barely emoting
Stoic.
in response.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't mean to sound rude, but if I was talking to someone and they just kind of vaguely gestured at me, the minute I walked away, I'd be like, wow, what a bitch.
I feel like people, not to get too off topic, but I feel like people forget that Samus talks in Super Metroid, Metroid Other M. She talks in Metroid Fusion.
I certainly...
This is not a new thing.
I remember Fusion. I didn't remember Super. And obviously nobody forgets Other M.
The whole opening credits sequence is
you're right.
her
It's
talking
her
from the
narrating.
first person.
Yeah. I haven't played Super Metroid again in quite a while, but I desperately want to go back. That's one of those.
She talks in Dread too.
That's true. I need to play Dread again too. Man, I need to go on a Metroid bender. I maybe that's my detox from Persona is to go play.
After all this Metroid that I've been playing, I think the one thing that I've learned above all else is that people don't know who Samus is.
Yeah, that's probably true. And Nintendo doesn't do necessarily the best job of keeping people well versed on their characters. Like I could have sworn that she had never hunted a bounty, and that's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you define bounty, but technically speaking,
if she's getting paid, I think it counts.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about another famous Nintendo bounty hunter though.
Okay.
And this one I'm a little more confident has never hunted a bounty. Captain Falcon. He's officially also a bounty hunter. And I've only seen this guy race cars and occasionally punch people.
He's a bounty hunter insofar as he has a gun. I've never seen him use it, but he has one.
He does have a gun. I know there was an F-Zero anime, but I don't think he captured a bounty in the anime either.
No, actually, is it okay if I talk spoilers about that here?
All right, hold on. Let's give people a little countdown. We're going to talk spoilers about a very obscure F-Zero anime in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, so at the end of the series, Captain Falcon, he does the Falcon Punch on Black Shadow and kills him and like blows a hole in the entire galaxy. It's really awesome. The rest of the anime is not awesome, but that specific moment, delicious. Chef's kiss. But you find out when his helmet flies off that he was the owner of a cafe that the main character goes to all the time and gets advice from Captain Falcon without knowing that it was him.
What?
So Captain Falcon's actual job is being a barista.
I want Captain Falcon to make me a latte. That's ridiculous.
It's such a cool moment, though, because like he's always giving sage advice to the main character, and then you find out that it was Captain Falcon the whole time.
That's kind of cool.
Have you played F-Zero GX?
No, I have not.
I don't. I know there's a story mode, and I've only like seen other people play through it. I don't know if Captain Falcon is going on a bounty hunt necessarily, but he is like after Black Shadow in that game.
I have to say, I feel like it, unless it's implicitly told to us that it's a bounty, it can't count. I feel like we have to, because he could just be a vigilante at that point, right? Or he could be on the payroll of the cops. Like there's reasons. We need the lore here. And I guarantee someone listening
he is made to be like a tokusatsu kind of like Sentai hero.
Yeah.
So to me, he's Kamen Rider.
Rider. Common Falcon. I like this idea. I like the concept that he's actually a like tokusatsu hero instead of just a straight up bounty hunter. But I'd say you could go 50-50 on this one. Like he maybe kind of sort of did his job, but I'm veering. I could also buy the argument that no, he has never actually done the job that he's been assigned.
The only thing we can say for certain is that Captain Falcon serves an iced coffee.
That's true. Now I really want to get an iced coffee from someone in Captain Falcon cosplay. If you're a barista out there somewhere and you dress up as Captain Falcon, I will come buy coffee. Let's see. So let's see. Link technically has a job, but I'd say you could make the very successful argument that Link is always doing his job as a knight of Hyrule. At least Breath of the Wild Link has a job, I should say.
Twilight Princess Link has a job.
Oh, that's right. And he very rarely does it.
Yeah.
He kind of gives up immediately.
He wrestles some goats and then he leaves town.
Yeah, he's like, anyway, those are sorted. I'm going to go fight Zant. Like, I got the weird hat.
The Link to the Past manga, he's an apple. Like, he owns an apple orchard.
I think you're right about that. It's been a while since I read it, but I'm almost certain you're correct on that one. Which means he never does that.
He works for a blacksmith family in Minish Cap, but we never see him do the blacksmithing.
Yeah,
just delivering a sword to Hyrule Castle.
I mean, you could say he did his job there. I mean, the blacksmith has to deliver the sword, but yeah, that's it's a very narrow definition. And then you have a bunch of Links who by design don't have jobs. Like you have Skyward Sword Link, he didn't really have a job. Toon Link didn't have a job. He was just
his job was being 10 years old.
Yeah. Just kind of walked out and watched his sister get kidnapped. And he's like, well, I guess time to slaughter a god.
I'm a pirate now.
Yeah. I'm a pirate and I'm going to stab a man in the forehead. like the most, I guess, real quick, 3, 2, 1 on spoilers for Wind Waker, but that is the most brutal takedown of Ganon ever. Like I can't think.
It's such a raw moment. Which is funny because like the game that follows it up, Twilight Princess, is supposed to be the gritty one, and he does another spoiler 3, 2, 1. He does kill Ganondorf in a similar way, but like head through the skull or sword through the skull is pretty metal.
Yeah, I just love the idea. Like I don't know. This is how I know I could never be a hero like Link, because I would be like, by the end of this, I'm going to put this in your face. Like I would be very like, there's no way that a real person could land a shot like that and not be proud of it, right? Like Link had to be like nudging Zelda, be like, "Did you see that? I did that.
That was the coolest thing I've ever did.
I hope you were recording. I hit that shot perfect." Like I remember seeing that for the first time and just being like, "Damn, that is brutal."
That's a core memory for me as a child.
Yeah, like I remember,
'cause I just didn't see it coming.
I remember the one instance of blood in Ocarina of Time, and I remember that, and I remember just.
Did you have a cartridge where the blood was red?
I did.
So did I.
Yep, I remember just being like, "Oh my god!" I recently, I felt, just a side note, just a side story. I recently invested in 2 cart dumpers because obviously, as games age, their batteries tend to go out. And I spent like $50 on getting an N64 cart dumper so I could dump my saves, replace my batteries, and reload them, only to discover that only 12 N64 games have a battery, and I own one. And it's Ocarina of Time. So
only one with a battery?
That's the only one I own. But there are only 12 N64 games total with a battery. So the cart dumper was absolutely useless.
I'm trying to think, and I'm like all the games that are coming to mind, I'm like, you can save those in those games.
Yeah.
Without a memory card.
Yeah. Super Mario 64 was the one that I really was concerned about. Turns out it doesn't have a battery for saves. It just has like a flash chip on there that doesn't need a battery.
Oh,
I was shocked by that. Yeah, there's different variations of N64 games, and most of them don't use battery backup, but Ocarina of Time does. Majora's Mask magically does not, though. So I have no clue why they put a battery backup in Ocarina of Time. And then
The more
Animal
you know.
Crossing has like a battery for the clock, but the saves are not battery backed up. Yeah, crazy. I did the same thing for my Game Boy games. I recently got a Game Boy cart dumper from a company called Epilogue, and theirs is super cool. Like they have a piece of software that IDs the cart, lets you play it on your PC if you want. It just really cool stuff. But yeah, Link is mostly unemployed. is where we were headed with this.
There's a couple occasions where he's employed, but yeah.
Yeah, largely unemployed. Now, this is the one that I'm most interested in talking about. We can't have a conversation about jobless or employment status of Nintendo characters without talking about our boy Mario.
Oh boy, this is a complicated one.
Does Mario plumb? And then it becomes weird because I believe, maybe I'm misremembering, but didn't Miyamoto retcon him out of a job?
He did?
I could have sworn around the time that Odyssey released that Miyamoto said, actually, he's not a plumber.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I do remember that.
I'm trying to look that one up right now. I'm furiously Googling.
While you search that up, my argument would be that, yeah, he is a plumber because the entirety of Mario Brothers takes place in the sewers.
That's true.
And he's cleaning them up. He's fighting the bad guys, getting rid of them.
But I've never met a plumber that kills crabs in the sewer.
He does plumb in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Ooh, he does.
You're explicitly forced to fix the plumbing underneath Bean Bean Castle.
Oh, now here's something that's interesting though. As I'm digging up lore, at the time of the original Mario Brothers, Mario was not a plumber. He was a carpenter.
He was a carpenter in Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So you're telling me there was a carpenter in the sewers of the Mushroom Kingdom just because?
That, according to the manual that Nintendo wrote for the Atari 2600 version of the original Mario Brothers, it starts with, your task is to help Mario the Carpenter and his brother Luigi rid their house of pests. That was supposed to be a house?
I disagree with the literature. I'm going to have to put my foot down on that one. Cuz he's had other jobs where he's actually done them, like even the carpentry one. I guess it's more demo. But like in Wrecking Crew.
That's true. He was in Wrecking Crew and the point of the game was doing your job.
Yeah. Dr. Mario, he's killing viruses.
He's probably killing patients too, but you could argue he's doing the job.
He's attempting his job.
He's given it his best. His best just might end with, a funeral.
So like the official jobs he's had are carpenter, plumber, and doctor. Am I missing any?
Let's see. Plumber, carpenter, doctor. Let's see. I mean, technically you could add like pro golfer, pro tennis player. I don't think
true.
Partier.
Pro partier Mario.
Pro partier Mario. Referee, which he has done.
Oh, yep.
He was the referee in Punch-Out.
He's also the referee in Mario Tennis, even if he's playing.
That's a little weird. But yeah, I think that, gosh, I'm trying to find where Miyamoto retconned him or something, but maybe I'm missing that part. Maybe he didn't retcon him out of a job. He just explained why he gave him plumber. But
he's a pro racer.
He is a pro racer. He was
not even talking kart racing.
Yeah, he was in that Famicom. Gosh, what was it called? It was like a Famicom rally game.
I know what game you're talking about. I'm picturing the box art in my head.
Yeah, I can picture it too, thanks to Odyssey mostly. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but we're talking about the same game.
Yeah, we definitely are. He had like an F1 style racing suit with a helmet. If you play Mario Odyssey, you can find it there. Uh, let's see. It was Famicom Grand Prix 2 3D Hot Rally is what it was called.
What a name.
Yeah. And it's got Mario and Luigi in racing gear on the cover. So yeah, that's an official. So not only does Mario do his job, he's done several. He changes up his profession from time to time. And he seems to, at least in several video game instances, actually work said job. I would say plumber is the iffiest one of his jobs, though. Because
it's so weird. We only have one official instance that I can think of him plumbing in a video game.
Yeah, and it took what, like 20 years for them to show it?
Yeah.
So I would argue that Mario does do his job, albeit extremely questionably, and he seems to moonlight on like several different things.
Mario decides what his job is based on his mood in the morning when he wakes up.
I feel like that's probably true of Miyamoto as well these days. Probably just wakes up and he's like, I'm the king of Nintendo. I'm going to do what I want. Show me the Switch 3.
I can think of another Nintendo character that definitely does their job.
Let's go for it. Hit me.
It's the Star Fox team.
Oh, yeah, of course. Man,
they're a mercenary group.
They are dedicated too. They cut their legs off for that job.
At the end of Star Fox 64, you even get to stamp an invoice with how much money you made.
That's true. That is the most jobbing that any Nintendo character has done, because you get to ship the bill off at the end.
Yeah, I can't think of any other Nintendo game where I send an invoice in the gameplay.
There's got to be another one. Not like, oh, wow. I just thought of another character who does his job. Rusty from Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Like the whole game is about him doing his job. And not only that, Rusty tries to screw you on the actual real world price of things. He does his job harder than anyone actually does their job. Because
he does his job so well, it affects my real money.
Yeah. He offers you, for those of you that don't know, in Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, you could buy DLC from Rusty, but you could haggle with him in game. Like, and he would eventually come down on the actual price of the DLC and let you buy it for less.
What a wild thing.
I think that's so nuts. Like, I wonder if anybody was just like, yes, I will pay the full price. And then if Nintendo just was like, no, it's actually like less. You just didn't buy into the bit, you know?
There's got to be some kind of law thing in the way there, because that feels a little scummy.
feels a bit weird now that I think about it in hindsight. So I don't know if anybody ever said like, just, yeah, all right, charge me. Did it actually charge you the original asking price, or would Rusty just come down on the price? I feel like that's a case that needs to be studied. I need to.
If you know, please tell us.
Yes, please. Like, that's a piece of Nintendo trivia I don't know, and I really want to know it. But Rusty literally played with your actual wallet.
Yeah, he's. I don't know if I'd say he's good at his job. Because you can haggle him down pretty well.
That's true. All it takes is hitting no like a few times. He's like, all right, here's your discount.
Maybe that means we're good at our job.
That's true. Maybe we're good at ours and we're better at our job than he is at his.
I thought of another character.
Oh, who you got?
This one is super obvious when you think about it. It's Chibi Robo.
Oh, yeah. That does make a lot of sense.
He is literally a product who's designed to support around the house.
And that's all you end up doing. That's what he does. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
There are quite a few. Like, I think when I had this idea, I was like, oh, none of them do their jobs. And I'm realizing now most of them do. Like, you could say that they're spectacularly bad at it, but most of them do their jobs. Olimar from Pikmin, anyone from Pikmin. I mean, they start out by screwing up spectacularly at work, but they recruit an army of little indigenous plant creatures, which also seems like something you shouldn't do at work, but they eventually get wherever they're going based on that. So,
well, would you say Olimar is better at his job, or the Pikmin are better at their job?
Oh, the Pikmin are better at their job.
Yeah,
they do as told. Which is a sad job for them, because oftentimes Olimar's like, go die.
Well, think about it. Yeah, if they die, it's Olimar's fault. It's not theirs.
He is a terrible employee and an even worse employer. Like, somebody gave him a ship, he crashed it. Then he met a bunch of indigenous creatures, and he's like, right into the mouth of that thing. That bullborb over there, I want you to just throw yourselves at it until you or it die. He's like, what? Some of you aren't going home tonight. I don't know what to tell you. I need that Duracell battery. But yeah.
I had another one come to mind. I'm losing it.
Oh no.
Come back to me.
I'm here. I'm praying for your success.
The ice climbers.
Oh, yeah, they do just climb ice, don't they?
That's exactly what they do. They do no more and no less.
Yeah. Like, we're going to climb ice. We're also going to make it our whole thing. Even when we get invited to Smash, we're going to tie ourselves to each other with a rope.
I just had another one come to mind.
Who you got?
This one is weird because Donkey Kong does have an official job.
Oh, he does. He's a miner.
And he's really good at it.
Yeah, when you think about it. Like, all the other little monkeys have like pickaxes, and he's like, I'm just going to punch my way through. Literally.
I was going to say Donkey Kong's job is banana. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I'm like, wait, no, he's employed.
Yeah, he was supposed to be getting a paycheck. You could argue, though, that while he has developed the correct skill set, he is fundamentally a poor employee, because he just kind of meets a little girl and like screws off his job and leaves, and then assaults the owner of the company. Which,
to be fair, the entire island like sank underground.
Yeah, you do have that.
He was doing his job up until that moment.
And then he decided to just use his skills for a different purpose. He found his calling, which was decimating every other place he could find.
His end goal was banana, and I think if we were judging him based on that, then he succeeded.
He would get a good performance review based on the goal of banana. He did banana pretty hard. You know,
Donkey Kong's really good at banana.
There is arguably, though, one other punchy Nintendo character who did their job even better than DK, and that is Little Mac.
Oh,
Little Mac has a job. He is a boxer, and considering the fact that I think canonically he's like 5'4" and like 130 pounds, and
he's very tiny.
He ends up defeating Mike Tyson in his prime. I would say he did a pretty good job. You know, considering I just watched Jake Paul get his jaw snapped by a pro boxer.
Real life Glass Joe just happened.
Yeah. So good. So good. What a week. What a holiday week. But yeah, Little Mac basically starts at the bottom and ends up going somehow, without gaining any weight, all the way to the heavyweights, which I would argue means he's pretty persuasive negotiator. They're like, hey man, you can't do this. You're 130 pounds soaking wet. And he's like, yeah, but I'll win. Oh, it'll be fine. Somehow convinced the boxing commission to just let him fight someone, a foot taller and 100 pounds heavier than him, and still came out on top.
Even beyond that, he fights a gorilla.
That's true. How many boxers do you know are getting in the ring with a gorilla
and wins? Donkey Kong is good at banana, but he's not as good at box as he is at banana.
No, I think Little Mac has the winning fists here. He might not punch through a mountain, but he could arguably knock out Donkey Kong. I would love that. I would love a game in which Nintendo characters like end up crossing over in ways you don't expect. Like, you're playing DK Bonanza and the last boss is just Little Mac and he just wants to beat you up like for no reason. He hasn't shown up in a game in 20 years and he just wants to fight you.
I think I've got a couple more occupations. They're rolling around in my brain now.
All right, let's go.
Next up is a quick one. It's Wario. He's the owner and CEO of a video game company.
That's true.
And he does release games.
Yeah.
He
That's
doesn't
true,
make
and
them himself, but maybe that makes him better at his job
I
because
was
he's
gonna,
not
I was gonna
working
say
as
the
hard.
CEO of game companies never do though, do they? Like, so
Okay, yeah, you're right. He's living up to the expectation.
yeah, he's doing what he's supposed to do. As long as he collects like an 8-figure bonus and his developers struggle to eat, I'd say he's doing it the way most people do it. So I'd have to say that Wario is nailing the assignment, however immoral the assignment may be.
And in universe, he's charging full price for games that last 5 seconds long.
I mean, we've seen it before, right? Where is Bobby Kotick these days?
He's Wario in disguise. The other one I had, I had to bring up Fire Emblem for Daniel's sake, but in 3 Houses, you're a teacher. And that's baked right into the gameplay.
Oh, really? That's true.
You are
Byleth is
teaching your students and then sending them out to battle.
That is 100% accurate. Byleth does have to teach students and then send them out to fight, and that is all he does. And he goes out with them, he or she, depending on which one you chose. Yeah, that's a really good one. I never thought about that, but yeah. I also, for some reason, Fire Emblem, though it is obviously a Nintendo franchise, I never think of it in the same breath as like Mario and Zelda and all of those others. That's a great one.
I had to dig deep for that one.
I feel like...
You know what my real strategy was?
What was it?
Just start thinking about the Super Smash Brothers roster.
That's a really good point. That has to be running dry for you, though. You have to be running.
I am struggling now, yeah. I'm like, Ness, his job is to be child.
Yeah,
and beat up dogs with a stick.
Oh, don't make that your job.
That's what he does.
That just means he's a little sociopath. It doesn't mean he has a job. His job is to eventually be put away somewhere where he can't hurt anyone anymore.
Would you consider Bayonetta's job to be, she's a witch and she hunts angels. Is that her job?
I suppose she would be like a supernatural, sexy hunter lady. like if a sexy
really
librarian
good at
had
killing
foot
angels.
guns. Yeah, she is very good. I guess that could be her job. It's really difficult to say what her job is.
She does get paid in halos, and then she spends those halos. Like she quite literally makes money every time she kills an angel.
Yeah, then that can be a job. If you get paid for it, it's a job, right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
She just does what she loves. Gosh, I'm like trying to think. I mean, Zelda doesn't have a job, kind of. Being a princess.
She's the princess of Hyrule.
Yeah, but that's not a job. Like, she just kind of was born into money. Like, she
takes it seriously in the Wilds era, though.
That's true. She does. Zelda technically does her job. I mean, in the same way Princess Peach technically does her job. Like, she had Peach Showtime. She stabbed some people. It was a little off-putting.
Peach's job is to be princess.
That's true.
And she's really good at be princess.
All right.
Palutena, she's the goddess of light.
That's true. But
Without
that's
her,
like a
Pit wouldn't
being,
be able
like
to
in
fly.
existence. I don't know that I'd call that a job. Like, she doesn't have to clock in the morning to be Palutena.
No,
just
but
is.
she is the one sending Pit on his missions and supporting him through to the end of those.
That's true. You could argue that she's like a commander. she's like Pit's commanding officer. I could see that. In a military sense, sure, she has a job. But I do think we are probably plumbing the depths of what it means to have a job now. I don't know about you, Brandon, but you know what? Let me close out the episode by asking you a question, because we're recording this before Christmas, just a couple days before Christmas. And if you're in our Patreon and you've subscribed to get the Weekend Nintendo early, you'll be listening to this on Christmas. For the rest of you, it'll be the day after. What are you planning to do? I assume. Maybe I'm assuming incorrectly, but I'm assuming that you have some time off in the next couple days. Is that right?
I do.
All right. So how, obviously we covered it earlier. Your unwinding time is spent gaming. What is your holiday game this year?
My holiday game. That's a tough one. I'm running out of Metroid. I'm like scraping the barrel for Metroid games right now. That's hard to say. I don't really know. There was a Kirby Air Riders event for Christmas that gave out a Santa hat, but they had to cancel it because of a bug. So that's not in my plans anymore.
Aw.
It was.
That's so sad.
I wanted the hat really bad, man.
They got to give out the hat. I feel like if you announce an event and then you cancel it, you have to give everybody the hat. That's just how it should work.
Yep. I mean, Monster Hunter Wild's got its last title update, and I've only beat that monster once. So I wanted to spend some time playing that over the next couple days. But other than that, I don't know. I think I might just be trying to unwind, just in general.
That's fair. Are you are you the Christmas gift opening sort? Like, are you guys going to do a gift exchange, or what are your?
Yeah.
I figure. I always like to ask just in case. Are you hoping that you got anything like gaming specific?
No, not really. I haven't really asked for anything in particular. So as far as I know, like, Christmas is a complete question mark.
Interesting. I love going in not knowing what to expect. Unfortunately, my family is pretty like bad about subtlety. So sometimes my mom will just be like, "What do you want? Just send me a link to something you want." She didn't do that this year, and I think that's largely due to Rosie's influence. But I did get asked a couple times very awkwardly, like, "Hey, are there any like games you don't have?" and believe it or not, I showed some restraint this year and I didn't buy a couple. So I anticipate that I will be getting a couple of games, possibly. Key among those is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 for Switch 2, because I got it and I stupidly got it for Switch 1 and I didn't realize there wasn't an upgrade path. So I might spend my holiday playing those, but I also have Persona 5 and Dragon Quest 11S on my radar deep now. And so I'm like, I might just put whatever I get for the holiday aside and focus on one of those two RPGs, or even both if I can manage. But I'm really looking forward to
I would also suggest...
Oh, please do.
That you play the remake trilogy in chronological order.
How is chronological order 3, 1, 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
The game is expecting you to do that.
Okay. That's what I thought. And I do have 3. I have 3. 3 got a Switch 2 quote unquote, like air quote update, not a Switch 2 edition, but I've got 3 and I do need to start it on that. And then I'm going to play. So I might do 3. I've got just nothing but RPGs to play is what it turns out. It's like I've ignored a genre for too long. So now I'm going to make right with the RPG gods and start playing them. But I am hoping, Brandon, that you and your family have a wonderful holiday. I really appreciate you jumping on, man. It's been so good to have you here, and we definitely have to do this again. And for those of you out there, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday, whether you're celebrating or not. If you're not, I hope you just get some time to chill, to relax, put on your out of office, tell people to leave you alone, whatever it is you want to do. I am going to be doing that. We are out for the remainder of the year. We have just one more week in Nintendo left, or should I say year in Nintendo. And I don't think it's too early to say, but Brandon, you're going to be back for that one, right?
Probably.
Yeah, we'll find out. We're recording it in a few days. Not over the holiday, like a few business days. But we'll be recording the year in Nintendo next week. That'll be live for all of you, where we will break down Nintendo from January to December and talk about everything that happened. That'll be our big year wrap up. And then sometime, hopefully early in the year, whenever Nintendo gives it to us, we will have our actual playtime wrap up where we talk about what we've played by the numbers. But thank you all so much for listening this week to the Week in Nintendo. If you'd like to get this every week early, you can head over to patreon.com/gvgaming to find out how. Joining our silver tier at just $5 a month gives you access to every episode of the Week in Nintendo, audio version, a day early at least, and it gives you access to all of our other videos, like John's editorials, Daniel's stuff, as early as we can get those out to you. But thank you all so much for listening to The Week in Nintendo. I hope you have a happy holiday, and we'll see you next week for our final podcast of 2025. Until then, bye.
Bye.